I'm Jim Fowler, and I'm the composer on Cabernet from Party for Introverts. Again, my journey into writing music for video games was kind of circuitous. I started out playing jazz, went to music college. A friend of mine was working at Sony, and they had just started SingStar. And from there, inside Sony, I began writing the menu music for SingStar, began helping out on other projects. From there, worked on all kinds of things, either as composer or orchestrator. The composer is the person who's, they're the source of the music. The orchestrator's job is taking what the composer's written and essentially putting it onto paper with dots. Arsini, one of the co-founders of Party for Introverts, and I worked together at PlayStation. A little later down the line, we both left to be freelance. He was speaking with Arsini, and he said he had this game coming up. I thought it sounded really interesting and fun, so I kind of threw my hat in the ring to work on it. I guess the first things that inspired the music were a kind of sadness, sort of Eastern European melancholy, and a kind of gentleness, despite it being a game about vampires. Some of that melancholy, I think, comes through in Liza's Lullaby, which is kind of the source of a lot of where the music went. There's something that just as a melody could be a nice bedtime song, sleepy song, but once it gets the harmonies on it, it begins to give it a slight ambiguity. So it's like a very strong harmony. There's a tension. There are extensions on all the chords. Nothing feels quite settled. That was how I was trying to achieve that sense of melancholy. There's always just like this way or a touch that way, and it never quite makes it. In general, for the score, didn't want it to feel like a sort of pastiche Eastern European music. Sort of a lot of sevenths and ninth chords that you might have found in late romantic music, just to kind of give it a little feel of that, maybe some Rachmaninoff kind of ideas. So I suppose looking to borrow small ideas from composers around who would have been around in that part of the world at that kind of time, just to give a little flavour of the time and space, but not to draw you out of it and not to make you feel like it's pastiche music. Except, of course, for the drinking song in the bar, which is just a full-on Eastern European drinking song pastiche, but then that's kind of what's required there. For personal reasons so Anastasia, who's playing the cello in it, I got to record my oldest friend for that, who I've known since we were both 10. So I knew I was going to write that tune for him to play. And that was really nice to get to do something together again, because we haven't had that much chance to do things together since we were at school musically. That's probably my favourite one, just because I got to record it with Dave. Capture your reaction to the game in music. Whether the game requires some big emotional journey, whether it requires action music or just needs to make you feel cool when you finished it. If you honestly respond to that musically, then that's always going to be effective and affecting. The unique thing about music for games is that the music isn't finished until someone plays the game. You make the music, you record it, you put it together. The music itself isn't completely finished until someone plays it. Whether they know it or not, that they're kind of steering the musical ship to its final resting place. There's a little repeated thing. So both Liza's Lullaby and Dragomir, both their melodies and themes start with 3 repeated notes, not the same rhythm. And the idea there was that although the melodies go off in different directions and they do different things throughout the game, the idea there was to link the two of them together and to just, both musical ideas are born from the same idea of 3 repeated notes in the same way that they are very connected without being spoilery.